Respect is not something you earn by asking. It is not negotiated. It is not gifted by kindness, talent, or good intentions. Respect is extracted, taken, claimed through pressure that the human nervous system cannot ignore. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago, and what he understood still terrifies people today, because his formula exposes a brutal truth most people spend their entire lives running from. Humans do not respect virtue first. They respect consequence. They respect force that does not need to announce itself. They respect the individual who could disrupt the order, but chooses when to do so. If you have ever wondered why certain people are listened to the moment they speak, while others must over-explain, justify, and soften every sentence, this is why. Respect is not about being impressive. It is about being undeniable. You have been taught a lie, a comfortable lie, that respect comes from being helpful, agreeable, visible, hardworking, or morally correct. These traits may earn appreciation, they may earn gratitude, they may even earn affection, but respect is a different currency. Respect operates in the shadow economy of power, not in the daylight of social approval. Look carefully at how people behave when someone with true authority enters a room. Their posture changes, their speech tightens, their jokes disappear. Their bodies register something before their minds do. This is not admiration, this is assessment. The ancient part of the brain asking a single question: is this individual above me in the hierarchy or beneath me? Hierarchy is not a social invention, it is biological. It predates language, predates morality, predates law. Every social interaction you participate in is unconsciously sorting dominance, threat, usefulness, and risk. People do not decide whether to respect you. Their nervous systems decide for them. This is why asking for respect is fatal. The moment you request it, you signal that you lack leverage. You announce that you are dependent on permission, and dependence collapses authority instantly. Machiavelli's formula begins with a harsh recognition. People respect what they fear losing: status, access, stability, approval, safety, predictability. When you become a variable that can alter these things, respect follows naturally, without conversation. Most people are predictable. They react on schedule. They explain themselves reflexively. They seek reassurance when challenged. This predictability makes them safe, and what is safe is not respected. It is used. Predators do not fear sheep. They study them. The mistake is thinking fear means terror or aggression. That is a child's understanding of power. Machiavelli spoke of controlled threat, silent leverage, the kind that never raises its voice because it does not need to. Fear in this context is not panic, it is uncertainty. It is the quiet awareness that crossing you carries consequences that are unclear, delayed, or disproportionate. Humans fear what they cannot fully map, what they cannot read, what they cannot manipulate. This is why silence is more powerful than explanation, why restraint dominates emotional expression, why measured distance commands more authority than constant presence. When people cannot easily access you, decode you, or predict you, they assign you higher rank, not consciously, instinctively. Notice how quickly people disrespect those who are always available, always agreeable, always transparent. There is no risk in crossing them, no cost, no loss. So the nervous system relaxes, and relaxed nervous systems do not defer. Machiavelli understood that respect is not built by proving your worth. It is built by controlling the frame in which others evaluate you. You do not chase validation, you shape the conditions under which judgment occurs. This is uncomfortable because it forces you to confront a painful truth. If you are not respected, it is not because others are unfair. It is because your presence carries no weight, no tension, no consequence. And weight is not volume, it is gravity.
Gravity does not argue, it does not persuade, it does not announce itself. It simply bends everything around it. The moment you begin trying to be respected, you reveal that you are not. The moment you stop needing it, something shifts. People adjust. They speak differently. They hesitate. They become careful. Not because you demanded it, because something about you now implies cost. This is where most people retreat, because to continue means abandoning the fantasy that respect is moral. It is not. It is strategic. And strategy requires cold clarity. Machiavelli never asked whether this was fair. He asked whether it was effective. And the formula only begins here.
Machiavelli's second realization cuts deeper because it attacks the listener's identity, not just their behavior. He understood that respect is not granted to the person with the best intentions, but to the person with the strongest position. Position is everything, and position is rarely what you think it is. You believe your position comes from what you do, your work, your effort, your competence. That belief keeps you busy. It also keeps you weak, because competence without leverage turns you into a resource, not a figure of authority. Resources are consumed, authorities are deferred to. Watch how people treat the most capable person in the room when that person has no boundaries. They pile work on them, they interrupt them, they take liberties, not because they are cruel, but because the hierarchy permits it. The nervous system has classified that individual as useful but non-threatening. Machiavelli would call this a fatal misalignment. You are projecting value in the wrong direction. Value attracts exploitation. Power attracts restraint. This is where biology tightens its grip on social reality. In every species, dominance is not asserted through constant aggression, but through control of space, timing, and access. The dominant animal does not rush, it does not explain, it does not seek consensus. It moves last, it eats first, it decides when interaction begins and ends. Humans pretend we have evolved past this. We have not. We have only decorated it with language and etiquette. The mechanisms remain intact beneath the surface, quietly governing who is respected and who is disregarded. When you over-communicate, you shrink your position. When you justify your decisions, you lower your rank. When you explain your boundaries, you invite negotiation. Negotiation implies equality. Equality dissolves authority. This is difficult to swallow because you have been trained to believe that clarity creates respect. In truth, clarity creates comfort, and comfort erodes hierarchy. Machiavelli observed that leaders who explain too much become familiar. Familiarity breeds accessibility. Accessibility breeds intrusion, and intrusion ends respect. Silence, on the other hand, creates distance. Distance creates projection. Projection allows others to fill the gaps with assumptions, and humans always assume power where the information is scarce. This is not mysticism, it is psychology. The brain is an efficiency machine. When it lacks data, it relies on pattern recognition, and the strongest pattern it recognizes is this: those who do not need to speak much are usually the ones with nothing to prove. Respect accelerates toward those who appear self-contained. This is why people lean in when a quiet individual finally speaks. Their words carry density, not because they are smarter, but because they are rare. Scarcity amplifies perceived value. Always has, always will. Now understand the inversion Machiavelli makes. He does not tell you to demand respect. He tells you to remove the behaviors that signal disposability, to stop leaking yourself into the environment, to stop filling silence, to stop performing your worth for an audience that did not ask. The moment you stop trying to be understood by everyone, you become someone others try to understand. This shift is not subtle. It changes how people test you, and they will test you. Humans probe hierarchy the way animals probe fences. Light pressure at first, small disrespect, casual overstepping, jokes that land just a bit too far. Most people respond emotionally. They explain.
They laugh it off, they signal tolerance, and in doing so, they teach others how to treat them. Machiavelli's formula demands the opposite: not aggression, not outrage, stillness, delay, measured response, a refusal to immediately restore social comfort. When you do not rush to smooth tension, tension works on your behalf. People become uneasy, they replay the interaction, they adjust their behavior next time, not because you scolded them, but because uncertainty entered the equation. Uncertainty is expensive to the nervous system. It consumes attention, it creates caution, and caution is respect's closest relative. This is where weak individuals abandon the path, because it feels unnatural, because it risks social friction, because it removes the dopamine of instant approval. But power does not reward those who need to be liked. It rewards those who can tolerate being misinterpreted. Machiavelli knew this, and he pushed further, because once you remove your need to explain, you expose something even more dangerous: your capacity to withhold.
Withholding is where Machiavelli's formula becomes surgical. This is the point where respect stops being accidental and becomes engineered, not through manipulation in the theatrical sense, but through control of psychological reward and deprivation. Humans are conditioning machines. Every interaction teaches the nervous system what to expect next time. Pleasure reinforces. Absence sharpens attention. Loss imprints memory far more deeply than gain. Machiavelli understood this long before neuroscience gave it vocabulary. When you are always available, always responsive, always generous with attention, your presence loses its edge. You become background noise, predictable, safe, replaceable. Respect cannot survive in an environment of guaranteed access. The dominant figure is not the one who gives the most, but the one whose approval, time, or engagement must be earned, not begged for, earned through alignment with their standards. This is where most people recoil because it exposes how deeply they rely on external validation. They fear that if they withdraw, they will be abandoned. Machiavelli would say that fear already marks you as subordinate. Those who can be abandoned without collapsing gain leverage. Those who cannot are already owned. Power does not come from hoarding affection. It comes from surviving without it. Notice how quickly people adjust their behavior when a source of approval goes cold. They become attentive, polite, careful. They self-correct without being told. This is not cruelty. This is conditioning. The same mechanism that trains animals trains humans. Remove reward, behavior changes. Machiavelli warned that generosity without discrimination is a weakness disguised as virtue. It teaches others that your resources are infinite and your boundaries porous, and what is infinite is never valued. Strategic withholding is not emotional withdrawal. It is not punishment. It is neutrality. Calm reduction, a subtle shift in access that forces recalibration. This is why silence after disrespect is more effective than confrontation. Confrontation offers engagement. Engagement offers stimulation. Stimulation rewards behavior. Silence starves it. The human mind hates unresolved loops. When you do not react as expected, the other person's thoughts circle you. They seek closure. They replay. They adjust. You have entered their mental space without saying a word. This is also why consistency is dangerous. When your reactions follow a fixed pattern, people learn how far they can go. They push exactly to the line that triggers a response, then stop. The line becomes visible, and visible lines are always crossed eventually. Machiavelli favored asymmetry, controlled unpredictability, not chaos, but selective deviation. Calm one moment, distant the next, present, then absent, not to confuse emotionally, but to prevent behavioral mapping. Those who cannot be mapped
cannot be exploited. Respect grows in the gaps between expectation and response. This principle terrifies those who equate goodness with transparency, but transparency is only virtuous when power is already secure. Before that, it is exposure, and exposure invites dominance from others. There is another layer beneath this, evolutionary, ancient. The brain assigns higher status to individuals who are less reactive to stimulus. Reactivity signals vulnerability. Stillness signals control. When you do not flinch, rush, or overcorrect, you communicate surplus, surplus of options, surplus of safety, surplus of power. This is why emotional restraint intimidates more than anger ever could. Anger is readable, predictable, containable. Restraint is not. Machiavelli did not tell leaders to be cruel. He told them to be unreadable. Cruelty is sloppy. Unreadability is precise. As you apply this, something unsettling will happen. People will begin projecting intentions onto you. Some will assume depth, others menace, others authority. Let them. Projection works in your favor. It elevates you without effort. Those who try to clarify every misunderstanding descend into the crowd. Those who allow ambiguity rise above it. But there is a warning embedded here. Withholding without inner stability creates paranoia. If you are withholding to punish, to manipulate emotionally, to soothe insecurity, it will leak through micro-expressions and tone, and that leaks weakness. Machiavelli's formula demands internal alignment. You must genuinely not need the response you are withholding. That is the difference between control and collapse. And now, the most dangerous realization. Respect is not something you accumulate. It is something others give you when they sense you could take something from them instead.
The moment you understand that respect is granted by those who sense potential loss, your perception of social reality hardens. You stop asking who likes you. You start noticing who adjusts around you. Adjustment is the tell. Adjustment is the submission the conscious mind refuses to admit. Machiavelli observed that people do not openly acknowledge power. They respond to it indirectly. They soften language. They seek alignment. They preemptively explain themselves. These are not acts of politeness. They are defensive maneuvers. The nervous system sensing asymmetry and moving to protect itself. This is why respect is often invisible to the one who possesses it. Others do the work quietly. The weak mistake loud obedience for respect. They demand affirmation, praise, recognition. But those signals are unreliable. They can be faked. They often mask contempt. True respect expresses itself through caution, through hesitation, through self-restraint in your presence. When someone watches their words around you, you have leverage. When they rush to justify themselves, you have authority. When they fear misalignment more than disapproval, you have crossed the threshold Machiavelli described. This threshold is never crossed by force alone. Force draws resistance. It creates coalitions against you. Machiavelli favored a subtler dominance, one that makes resistance feel costly and alignment feel safe. The mind always chooses the path of least threat. Here is where most people sabotage themselves. They reveal their intentions too early. They announce goals. They broadcast desires. They seek allies before establishing position. In doing so, they give others time to prepare, to counter, to undermine. The dominant individual moves in silence until movement is unavoidable, not out of secrecy, but out of efficiency. Information is power only when asymmetrically distributed. The moment everyone knows what you want, they also know how to block you. Machiavelli understood that opacity protects power. Transparency invites challenge. This does not mean lying constantly. Lies require maintenance,
Maintenance drains energy. It means selective truth, strategic omission, allowing others to underestimate or misinterpret you while you conserve force. Underestimation is not an insult, it is camouflage. Those who rush to correct others' perceptions reveal insecurity. Those who allow false assumptions to persist control the tempo. Tempo is power. Notice how predators do not reveal intent through posture or sound. They remain neutral until the moment of action. Humans who master respect operate the same way socially. Calm exterior, minimal signaling, delayed reaction. The average person fills space with nervous output, opinions, emotions, explanations. This creates noise. Noise lowers perceived intelligence and authority. Silence sharpens both. Machiavelli would say that people fear silence because it forces them to confront themselves. When you do not fill the space, they do. They reveal motives, they reveal weakness, they reveal leverage points. You learn more by listening than by speaking, but more importantly, you gain power by allowing others to speak into a vacuum you control. This is where respect consolidates, when others feel seen by you, but you remain unseen by them, when they are exposed and you are opaque. The imbalance is subtle but decisive. However, there is a line. Cross it and respect curdles into resentment. Machiavelli warned against appearing arbitrary. Power must feel principled, even if the principles are never fully articulated. Inconsistency without structure breeds fear. Fear without structure breeds rebellion. The dominant figure is not chaotic. They are internally consistent, externally ambiguous. This requires discipline, emotional regulation, the ability to absorb insult without reaction, not because you are weak, but because reaction would lower you to the level of the challenger. Every time you react impulsively, you flatten hierarchy. You tell the other person they can move you, and if they can move you, they can control you. The hardest lesson Machiavelli offers is this: respect is not enforced in moments of confrontation. It is decided long before, in moments of restraint. By the time conflict arises, the hierarchy has already been set. And if you wait until you are disrespected to establish power, you have already lost the position you wanted to defend. The final movement of the formula is where most people fail completely, because it requires you to stop thinking like a participant and start thinking like a threat.
To think like a threat is not to become hostile, it is to become consequential. Machiavelli's final movement is the most misunderstood because it demands a shift in identity, not behavior. You stop seeing yourself as someone inside the social game and start positioning yourself as a force that can alter its outcome. Threat does not mean violence, it means leverage. It means the quiet awareness that you possess something others do not want to lose, cannot easily replace, or are unwilling to challenge. Status, access, information, stability, detachment. Any of these, when held correctly, turns your presence into pressure. Most people attempt to earn respect by increasing effort. Machiavelli would say this is backwards. Effort signals need. Need signals dependence. Dependence collapses power. Respect flows toward those who appear self-sufficient, not those who overextend themselves to be accepted. This is why the most respected individuals rarely explain their value. They let absence do the talking. They let missed access recalibrate perception. They let consequences teach what words never could. You must understand this clearly. Respect is not a reward for goodness, it is a response to asymmetry. When others sense that the relationship favors you, even slightly, their behavior shifts. They become cautious, cooperative, measured.
This is the inversion that terrifies moral idealists because it exposes that humans respond more reliably to structure than sentiment, to boundaries more than benevolence, to controlled fear more than warmth. Machiavelli did not ask you to abandon ethics. He asked you to stop confusing ethics with power. They operate on different circuits. When you internalize this, you stop overcorrecting. You stop chasing harmony. You stop filling silence to relieve discomfort. You allow friction to exist without rushing to dissolve it. And friction, when contained, sharpens hierarchy. At this stage, people will test you less, not because they like you, but because you are no longer easy to probe. Your reactions are delayed, your boundaries are implicit, your standards are felt before they are stated. You have become expensive to challenge. This is the true marker of respect, not admiration, not loyalty, but cost. When crossing you carries a price that feels unpredictable, people choose alignment instead. Some will resent this. Let them. Resentment is the tax power collects. Those who seek universal approval end up controlled by the lowest common denominator. Those who accept selective resentment rise above it. The final warning Machiavelli leaves is quiet but ruthless. If you misuse this formula to dominate emotionally, to punish insecurity, to inflate ego, it will collapse. Power requires inner stillness. If your need leaks, the illusion breaks, and illusions, once broken, turn hostile. The strongest position is indifference rooted in strength, not avoidance rooted in fear. When you no longer need to be seen as good, you gain the freedom to be respected. When you no longer need permission, authority forms around you. When you no longer explain yourself, others explain themselves to you. This is not a trick, it is alignment with how the human animal actually works, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. From that point forward, you are no longer asking how to earn respect, you are deciding who is allowed close enough to feel it. If this way of thinking sharpens you rather than comforts you, then you already understand what this place is for. Those who want reassurance will leave. Those who want clarity, leverage, and control will stay. Subscribe and take your place among those who choose awareness over illusion and power over approval.